Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikatadani Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Nandanandanam Bande Radhika Charanadvayam Gopijana Samayuktam Vrindavana Manoharam Bhajami Radham Madhavindanatram Smarami Radham Madhurasmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Badaram Tato Manojasti Katena Kapi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnupad Vidandi Swami, Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj, our Shiksha Guru, Sri Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Gosai Maharaj, Sri Gaur Govinda Gosai Maharaj, all devotees. Thank you for coming. Today is a very special day. Today is Amavasya, dark moon. The dark moon is there, but no light, therefore you cannot see it. Right? Like sun, without sunlight, you cannot see the sun. So Krishna, without his energies, cannot see him. Krishna's identity is revealed by his energies. Got it? Right. So today is the disappearance day of Sri Gadadhara Pandit and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay, for new guys, be patient. Not easy topic to understand. So, I think first we talk about Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he is our Gurudev's Guru's Guru. What's that? 5-6 generations. Very, very important person, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay? He is called Gaur Shakti. When we consider him the embodiment of Lord Chaitanya's potency, or Gadadhara himself. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, very important person. Two types of souls. Craig, right? Colin. Craig. Colin. Right, two types of souls. Some souls are all souls in the material world. We are called the Nitya Bhadas. Means always forgetting Krishna. In simple language, we may say there's never been a time we were with Krishna or could remember him. In simple language. Anadi Bhada means bound since time without beginning. Simple language, eternally bound. Don't want to get into the semantics. Always forgetting Krishna. Who are we? No idea. Forgetful of our eternal identity. We're just changing one material body to the next, Birth, death, old age and disease, again and again. Right, Colin? Craig. She's... No. Huh? He is Colin. I knew. It's been a tough few days up here. Right. So, some souls always forgetting Krishna, that is us. But another category of souls always remember him. They're called the Nityasiddhas, eternally perfected. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur belongs to this second category of souls. There is never time they forget Krishna, there is never time they are separate from him. So they come to this world, why? Ordinary souls come to this world to forget Krishna, to enjoy separately from him. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur comes to this world only for one purpose, for service to Krishna. So, another way we may explain, actually the identity of everyone, we are called Vaishnavas. Right? Like those who worship Jesus Christ are called Christians. Those who follow the teachings of Muhammad are called Musliman. Right? Islam are called Muslims. Those who follow Shiva, they're called Shivites. Those who follow Shakti, they're called the Shaktas. Those who follow Ganesh are called the Ganapatis. But those who follow the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, are called the Vaishnavas. So we believe all souls, their eternal identity is a servant of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Jivera Surupahoy, Krishna Nitidas Tatasta Shakti Ar Beda Bed Prakash. So, in some souls, that potency to serve Krishna is fully manifest. And all souls have this potency, despite what Mukunda believes. All souls have this tendency to serve Krishna, but without proper association, without proper environment, without appropriate spiritual practice, that potency not manifest. Guru Maharaj gives an example. All parrots can speak. Polly want a cracker. All parrots have that potency. But unless the parrot is captured by a hunter and taught, Polly is a cracker, Polly is a cracker, then that parrot cannot sing. All monkeys can dance. All monkeys can dance. But unless the monkey is captured, trained, that dancing potency not manifest. Actually, that's my example. Gurudev gave the example of parrot. All seed can produce a tree, but unless there's some water, some fertilizer, some light, appropriate environment, that seed will never become a tree. So, Colin, right? All souls are servants of Krishna, but not proper association, then that tendency not manifest. All children can read and write, but unless they go to school, that will not manifest. All women can have babies, but unless they get married, that'd be the ideal case, wouldn't it? That not child not come. Many, many examples. So all souls are servants of Krishna. But without proper association, without appropriate practice, that loving nature not manifest. And it just simply comes in a perverted form, in the form of material attachment. So, every kehamani, kehanamani, sabak tadadas, yenamani tad hoy se papinas. All are servants of Krishna. But those who not accept it, they become destroyed. They destroy themselves. Soul killers. 2 soul killers, Craig, Colin. Those who eat meat, killers of the soul. And those who don't serve the Supreme Lord, also, like Buddhists and others, also soul killers. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur belongs to the highest category of liberated souls, pure Vaishnava. They come to this world only for one reason, to give mercy. To inculcate loving feelings of service to Krishna in the heart of everyone. So normally, ordinary person dies. When they die, they're simply transferred to another body. Their past identity have no meaning, useless, lost. But these souls like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they never change from one body to the next under the spell of illusion. We believe they come in their original spiritual forms, and in that spiritual form, they return back. Okay, so today we will a little bit remember the teachings, the life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because today is his 108th Disappearance Festival. Normally when someone disappears, there's so much crying and drinking and all these things. Means everyone full of ignorance and lamentation. But when a Vaishnava disappears, a devotee disappears, this is called Mahotsav. I'm sure when Damodar Maharaj disappears, there will definitely be a Mahotsav. But when a high-class person disappears, it's called a festival. Why? No reason to lament, no cause of sadness, because they're going to the supreme abode. Therefore, there is one festival. Oh, look, qualified soul came for the service of Radha Krishna. So there is a festival, and here in this world is also one festival. So this is called Tirubhav Mahotsav. So Gurudev Samananda Gaudiya Maharaj, how can we advance to life? He said, just follow these appearance days, the birthdays, appearance days, and the disappearance days of the great saints. That is all. Because if we can remember them, speak something about them, remember their teachings. Guru Maharaj said, even if we speak and we're not doing it, doesn't matter too much. Because when you speak, you'll feel it. Oh, I should be doing this. So it's good for the person who speaks, and also good for the person who hears. So Gurudev was very strong follower of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and most of these teachings, actually all of them, we should be following Mukunda, not just cherry picking a few that Jiva Institute reject. So Gurudev was a very strong follower of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He spent his life putting all these books. Originally they're written in Bengali language. So Gurudev spent his life putting these into the national language, Hindi, that is national language of India. Tell Ram he's banned, he's not welcome. No? And from there, who is it? Oh. I could pick on someone else. Colin, you're off the hook.
You're off the hook.
What year did he attend?
Not sure. Look into Google. 1835, it could be. Huh? Seriously, I guessed that right. There you go. 1835 he was born, and he disappeared 108 years ago. What's that? Do the math. 1914. No? So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur are the perfect boat by which the ordinary materialist can cross and understand, have conception of the teachings of Krishna. So he wrote in a very wonderful way, because before all these secrets were locked in the Sanskrit language. No? Apparently it takes 12 years just to understand the grammar. No? So who has that time? And even you perfectly understand the grammar, unless you have a high degree of consciousness, no guarantee you'll take the right meaning. Also, each word has so many meanings that may be applicable. No? So all these secrets of the Vedas locked in the Sanskrit language, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur opened this. And Guru Maharaj said very, very difficult things he put in a very easily understandable manner. Okay? So, Nayan, where's the rest of your miserable family? Come. Can't you afford a decent suit at least? Take a seat here if you like. Okay, so Nayan, today is a good day, not just because you came, but today is the 108th anniversary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance. So, 536 years ago, Krishna appeared in the form of Lord Chaitanya. You've heard of him, right? Colin? Craig.
Interchangeable.
God, what's wrong? Craig on the right, Colin on the left. My right. Your right.
Yes. I'm right, you're wrong.
I have been sick, actually. So, 536 years ago, Krishna appeared in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bharatiya bharata. I appear in every age. Why? To protect the sadhus, protect the saintly persons, and destroy the envious, the non-devotees. So 530 years ago, Krishna appeared in the form of Lord Chaitanya. Especially in this age, people have very short lifespans. Very weak memory, right, Craig? Very weak memory. We cannot remember what we had for breakfast. Can you remember what you had for breakfast?
Yes, nothing.
Had a late dinner, did we? Second dinner. We have very weak memory, very short lifespan. People have to work so hard just to keep a roof on their heads, just to fill the stomach. No time, no inclination. People so poor, poverty-stricken. No mercy, no purity, no honesty, no cleanliness. All is degraded. So Krishna came in the form of the perfect sadhu, the perfect saintly teacher. He gave the ideal standard. If you want to practice spiritual life, do like me. But unfortunately, these teachings had become lost. Not lost, but this is called apasampradaya. Like a fruit tree needs pruning. If you prune the tree nicely and you cut off all these sub-branches, then the main branch goes up very straight, very tall. So the original teachings are like a tree trunk. And because of the time factor, Haribol, so many deviations came. These are called apasampradaya, like false branches of the Chaitanya tree. Bhaktivinoda Thakur counted 13 false branches. Our Gurudev's Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Kesa Maharaj counted 50. And so how many exist today? Who can count? Jiva Institute, Prem Prayojan, it's unlimited false branches, no? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to deal with all this misrepresentation. At the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then educated persons even hated to hear the name Gaudiya Vaishnav. Our branch, our line is called Gaudiya Vaishnavas. They thought, who is Gaudiya Vaishnav? Who have no control of their mind and senses, who take fish and ganja. Especially in funerals, they would pay these musicians to chant the names of Krishna. They would get some money from this and they would spend that on intoxications and horrible things like that. So people hated to hear the name Gaudiya Vaishnav. Guru Maharaj says, before the appearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then educated and high-class persons considered all these low branches that to be the followers of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore it became rejected by high-class society. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did great activity by his own personal example, his conduct, and by his writings. By these two contributions to society, again he opened the eyes of everyone to what is the beauty, what is the purity of the real teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So he wrote more than 100 books. Nowadays it's a copy-paste, blah blah, but no. He wrote more than 100 books in many, many different languages. English, Urdu, Sanskrit, Bengali, many, many languages he wrote. So great contribution he did. And his life is also very wonderful. It's said he was a high court judge. These days judges not so powerful. But that time in India, high court judge, district magistrate, this was like something like prime minister, not prime minister, but like what's it called, state governor. Do you even have that in Australia? What are they called? Premier. State premier, thank you. Like that type of position he had. He had 12 children. So externally he may look like a great materialist, big minister, so many children, this and that. So many people misjudged him, because many people think, to practice devotion I should give up everything, go to the forest, live in some cave. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur taught in this age that type of lifestyle is completely impossible. Two types of renunciation. One is Marakat Vairagya, monkey renunciation, and the other one is Yukta Vairagya, proper renunciation. Craig, are you serious? Yeah. Just testing. Colin, do we own anything to enjoy? Can we say claim anything as ours? Actually, everything belongs to God. So if everything belongs to Him, then how can I renounce everything? Like if I say, I renounce your cell phone, I renounce your beard, no meaning because it's not mine to renounce in the first place. So one type of renunciation, false renunciation, like a monkey. Right? Monkey live in the forest, he just live in the tree, he exists on fruits and roots. Someone may think the monkey is a great renounced personality. Is it true, Nayan? Oh my God, this is the world record. Probably their first time. No one ever comes back second time. What are you doing? You don't even know what button to press. He's just pressing buttons randomly. So this false renunciation, this monkey renunciation rejected by Lord Chaitanya. Mahaprabhu said to Raghunath, no? Makat vairagya na kore lokere dekan yata yog visai bun anashaktahan. Don't make an external show of renunciation like a monkey. No? You should live in this world with enjoying the objects of this world in an appropriate way. Means whatever we have we offer to Krishna, and after he's finished enjoying, we take that. Don't cook for yourself, Craig. Colin. Just go yes.
Yeah.
Huh?
I do that at work all the time. Yeah, it's just interchangeable names. No problem.
Right? We believe, no? Even vegan diet, this is full of violence. Because even potatoes, spinach, vegetables, life is also there. No? So we should offer everything to Krishna. That becomes free from any fault, any karma. Then we can take that, you know, without any defect. You know? So this is called appropriate renunciation. Whatever we have, use for the service of Krishna. Like this house. You know? Now it's being used properly because this is for Harikatha, for topics of Krishna. They're cooking and offering everything to Krishna. So this house is not a bondage. This house can be used also for service to Krishna. Money, people, what to speak of, anything can be offered and used in Krishna's service. So Bhaktivinoda Thakura is a wonderful example of this. So, where shall we begin? His life is really like an ocean. He had many, many obstacles also in his life. Especially one time, the British government placed him in charge of Jagannath Puri. When is Rath Yatra? Is it tomorrow? Sunday. It's a huge festival, the biggest one-day festival in the world. 16 million people attend. Well, COVID was a bit less. 16 million people attend. It's the day after tomorrow, right? Unfortunately, I'm not there. Unfortunately, we are not there. Huge festival. So this service of Krishna, this whole city is called Jagannath Puri, one name of Krishna, Jagannath. Lord. Yeah. Okay, day after tomorrow. So that one name of Krishna, Jagannath, Lord of the universe. This city is called Jagannath Puri. Huge festival. Have you ever been? You've been? During Rath Yatra? A few years ago we went during the return Rath Yatra. It was amazing. It was incredible. Beautiful thing. Actually I was a little shocked. Everyone was so enthusiastic. It's a city for Krishna. So this temple is going for hundreds of thousands of years. Jagannath Puri temple. So much embezzlement was going on. Of course, being India, being human nature. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was placed in charge of this temple. So the king was embezzling money from the temple. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur punished him because he was the district magistrate. How he punished the king? There, the temple, they offer foodstuffs to Krishna 56 times a day. And each time means hundreds and hundreds of kilos. So because he'd stolen so much from Jagannath, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave the king punishment. Punishment is you have to feed Jagannath. So king, all the money he stole and embezzled, he had to put back into the temple in the form of Krishna's service. So the king became very much against Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he planned to kill him. You know this story? So for 1 month he had some priests do some black magic ritual. You know? And the intention of this was to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You know? So when the priest was offering the last oblation, the last mantra into the fire, Bhaktivinoda Thakur will die. As he offered that oblation, the one and only son of the king died. Yeah, so he had many, many obstacles like this. No? Another time there was one person who claimed himself to be an incarnation of Krishna. His name was Visvaksena, something like that. No? So he said, I am the incarnation of Mahavishnu. I will throw the British out of India. Like this he was claiming. So he had many mystic powers. You know? And he had collected hundreds and hundreds of followers. But unfortunately, the ordinary person, they get money, they get some position. What they do with it, Nayan? They what? They become mad. So he was doing unmentionable things with other guys' wives and all these things. No? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur went to arrest him with 150 British soldiers. So when the yogi saw Bhaktivinoda Thakur had come to arrest him, then he had long dreadlocks, So he began shaking them, and fire was coming out the end of his dreadlocks. Sounds like a Paramananda story, but it's true. So everyone became afraid, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur said to him, "Oh, Bhavana, welcome. Only an hour and 20 minutes late. Do you ever turn up to Crazy Charlie's an hour and 20 minutes late?" She's not even listening. And why should she, you would say? "Bhavana, quickly, take a seat." So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said to him, "Your mystic powers are very insignificant compared to the mystic powers of the Supreme Lord. You are only making some sparks, but Krishna makes millions and millions of universes. So you will be arrested." Then the yogi understood he could not escape, so he said, "Because I am very kind to my devotees, being Krishna, then I am glad to be controlled by them." So he was placed in jail, and this court case was going on, and this yogi had hundreds of followers who were protesting outside the jail. Then the yogi, as the trial was going on, the yogi became very angry, so one day he stood up and said, "You still don't understand who I am? Tonight you will understand who I am." So, that night when Bhaktivinoda Thakur went home, his youngest daughter was very sick, about to die. Then his wife was begging, "Just let the yogi go. Just release him. Otherwise our child will die." Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "All my children will die, no problem, but this rascal will go to jail." And he fed some Charanamrita to the child. By mercy of Jagannath, he recovered. Means he's in such a big position that he never misused his powers, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, for his own benefit. That's his greatness. So the yogi, still nothing happened, and the yogi was sentenced to 2 years hard labor. Like that. So there was one British man, one Britisher. So he read, yogis keep their power in their hair. So as the sentence was passed, 2 years hard labor, then this British man jumped on the yogi and cut off his hair with a huge pair of scissors. Then all the powers of the yogi left him, and he fell like that, fell unconscious. So when all the followers of the yogi realized, oh, our incarnation of God's all powers went away when he had a haircut, they also left him like this. So I heard this story. That yogi was in jail, and for all the time of the trial he never ate or drank anything. Like he had some powers, At the end of the trial, he called Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and someone had smuggled some poison in. So he drank that poison, the yogi, he drank the poison, then he bowed to Bhaktivinoda, "Please forgive me. I could not understand who you are." And as he drank the poison, then he did dandavats, and he left his body at the feet of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So many, many obstacles he had in his life, many, many obstacles. He had a great desire to visit the holy place of Krishna, Vrindavan. And this was when, 1850s, 1860s. So it was a very wild place. So actually Vrindavan had been infested by criminal gangs, because at that time was no credit cards. So people would, when they visit the holy places, Bhavana, look very nice with your neck beads on. When they would visit the holy places, they would keep all their money with them. So these gangs would kill the pilgrims and just plunder all their wealth. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur stayed in Vrindavan. With the help of the British, he eradicated all these gangs, killed them all. Then, when he came to Vrindavan, some sickness came to him. So he prayed to Radharani, not that I pray not to get sick, but he said, "Radharani, I am not praying not to get sick. What I deserve, give me that. But just let me see Vrindavan in an undisturbed manner. When I finish Vrindavan Parakram, then you can give me what I deserve." So he stayed in Vrindavan. That time he met the great saint Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. He was considered Vaishnav Sarvabhauma, like the guru of all the devotees at that time in Vrindavan. I think at that time he was more than 140 years old. He used to be carried around in a basket. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur met him there at Suryakund. Did you ever go to Suryakund, Mukunda?
Yeah.
Even today, how Even today, how isolated place, right? Even so, you could imagine like 150 years ago. No? Well, 150 years ago. So there it said, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj transferred all his knowledge, all his qualities, all his devotion. He transferred everything to the heart of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. No? Therefore, in our disciplic succession, we consider the real Guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur not to be Vipin Bihari Goswami, no? Who he took formal initiation from, but we consider his real Guru to be Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. No? So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur associated there. No? Then he came back to Bengal, that's east side of India. No? So, that time the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, that is called Mayapur. No? Colin, right?
Yeah.
If you get a chance, you should pray to Krishna, I get a chance to visit these holy places. No? Just like if you come to Gold Coast, what mood comes?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Right? Everything has an influence on us. Like if we go in some church, a different feeling comes. If we go in the forest, a different feeling comes. If you come to what's it called? Caval Parade, what's it called?
Caval Avenue.
Caval Avenue, another feeling comes. Orchid Avenue. Everything has its influence. So these holy places, especially Mayapur, Vrindavan, these are considered the topmost places in the universe. Because if you go there, just touching the dust of these places, devotion comes. So powerful. Because Krishna himself living there, Krishna himself walking there. But that time, Mayapur had become completely covered. No? Nobody even knew where is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. Because the Ganga is shifting so many times. No? So everything had become covered, everything had become lost. No? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wanted to visit Vrindavan, but Lord Shiva appeared in his dream. No, don't go there. You have many, many works in Mayapur. So he went there and began living there. Remember this in Godrum, the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? And that was one nice temple, but that time he was living there a long time. And there he began his research, began his deep absorption in devotion. That time there was one young boy who was living next door. He said he could hear Bhaktivinoda Thakur chanting at night, loudly as if calling someone. Hare Krishna, like that, as if calling someone. Like that. He'd heard. So long time he stayed in Navadvip. No? So one night, as he was staying in his house, he was on the roof. There was a postman, one of his sons, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then from Godrum Dweep on the east, he saw one effulgence, one like palace, one huge building like that. Then he said, you see that, you see that? Then this one son said, yes, I see. But the post office, that was Mukunda in last life, said, I can't see anything. That thing was before them because he had no qualification to see. The next night he saw the same thing again. Because he was looking, where is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya? So next day he went across the Jalangi. That would mean he went across the Jalangi river, and he went to this place and began inquiring from the residents. What is this place? The Muslims had, the original name was Mayapur. But Muslims had changed the name to Miyapur. So, especially there was one hill. Come, Indira. Come, you are an hour and a half late. What?
I got a bit,
Sorry?
I was a bit slow getting ready.
Just keep them there, put the books there. So what we were saying? There was one hill. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked, what is this? Then the Muslims said, we don't know. Every time we try to plant eggplants, tomatoes, bindi, many times we tried to clear this place, we cut down all the tulsi trees. You know what tulsi is? Colin? You know what tulsi is? Very dear to Krishna. That's right, he's good there, no? You have tulsi in your tree, you have tulsi in your home, Arjuna? Okay, really, good. Where's your neck beads? Why not putting them on? Unregistered dog. Gogmaj would say, without this, unregistered dog. So, the Muslim farmer said, we always cutting down these tulsi trees, we try to plant something, but we don't know, again and again tulsi comes. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did some research from the old government maps, also reading these books like Bhakti Ratnakar, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita, because many people were thinking the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya was the other side of the Ganga. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave many proof, no, it cannot be other side, it must be this side of the Ganga. Why? Because when Lord Chaitanya went to crush the Muslim government under the guidance of Chand Kazi, tried to stop the Sankirtan party, then they're not described Lord Chaitanya went the other side of the river from his birthplace and came to the house of Chand Kazi. There is no description anywhere. That means the house of Chand Kazi and the house of Lord Chaitanya on the same bank of the Ganga. So this and many, many evidences from Chaitanya Charitamrita and other books, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur could understand this is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. But needs, unless one has some stamp from high-class pure Vaishnav, no one will accept. So that time Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was called. He was 140 years old. It said he was so old, all the skin of his forehead was so wrinkled, it would hang over his eyebrows. We cannot imagine someone that old. So just to, if he wanted to see you, he'd do like that, and all the folds of his skin he'd pull up, then he could see you. So he was so old. He was so old, he just being carried around in a basket by his servant Bihari. But when Bhaktivinoda Thakur called him and presented all the facts, then Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj became ecstatic. So he jumped out of the basket at 140 years old and began leaping in the air. Eyewitness accounts say he jumping more than 4 or 5 feet in the air. And very ecstatically, Ye Amar Gaura Hari Janmastha. This is the birthplace of my Gaura Hari. This is the birthplace of my Gaura Hari. So when pure and perfect person accepted by everyone like Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj gave this stamp, then everyone accepted it. So therefore we pray Namo Gaura Kishorai. No, Namo. What is it? Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj's pranam? Gaura Bir Bhava Bhumes Tvam Nirdista Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Bhoma Sri Jagannatayate Namaha. We give pranam to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Why? He found the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. I mean, it's not he found it, Bhaktivinoda Thakur found it, but he gave his full acceptance of that. Then when Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj accepts, then everyone accepts. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did great work. So all these lands, have you been to Mayapur 9? You have. When? It's 10 years ago. What have you been doing with your life? So you see now, all this side of Mayapur, all this land was purchased by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Huge amounts of land he purchased, because he knew this is in the future this will become so much important. Then he began collecting to build a temple in the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. So even though he was such a high office, door to door he would go and collecting donations. So all these deities, that time was established the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we're so much indebted to him. So one contribution were his books. Okay? The Vedic scriptures, even Krishna himself says, Veda Triguna Visayam. Krishna himself says, Krishna is the source of the Vedas. You heard of the Vedas, Colin?
No.
Well, we have now. Veda means knowledge. So these Vedas everyone has the Veda within them, perfect knowledge. But in some souls it's perfectly manifest, in others it's completely covered, like in Karuna's case, completely covered. So what does Krishna speak in the form of the Vedic scriptures and the Veda, the truth we have within ourselves, there is no contradiction between those two. But because we are now, that knowledge is now covered, unless we take help from the external Vedas, the scriptures, we cannot realize that truth within ourselves. So the problem is the Vedas deal with so many materialistic topics. Krishna himself says, mostly the Vedas deal with Veda Triguna Visaya, materialistic things. Astrology, astronomy, Bharatanatyam. Your child does Bharatanatyam, dancing. All these things, music, No? Even the, what's it called, architecture? Huh? Vastu Shastra, no? Even Ayurveda, all different types of medicines, social system, the Varnashram system, all these materialistic things, astronomy, the positions of the planets, the worships of the different demigods, no? All this knowledge also contained within the Vedas. No? Guru Maharaj gives an example like, ghee is in milk but you cannot see it. Butter is there in milk but no one can see it. But you churn, then it comes. So topics of Krishna and pure devotion are in the Vedas, but ordinary person cannot see them because bewildered by all these other topics. So great personality, they churn the Vedas, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the essence they give to us. That is called Amnaya. Amnaya means what, Mukunda? Proof. Spoken through the chain of disciplic succession. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur did great work. He churned all these scriptures. And he gave us in a very easily digestible form in these books like Jaiva Dharma, Chaitanya Shikshamrita. Have you read Chaitanya Shikshamrita? You read it? My one. Why not? You read it in Bengali? No, you didn't. Gurudev translated Hindi, so we put that into English. But wonderful book. No? There it talks about the inherent swarup of the jiva clearly. What? Anyway, we'll bust your balls later. So, he churned all these Vedas and gave in very easily digestible forms. And these forms, especially books like Jaiva Dharma, Chaitanya Shikshamrita, no? This Vaishnav Siddhanta Mala, Bhakti Tattva Vivek, beautiful, beautiful books. No? So Guru Maharaj gives so much importance to the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. No? Therefore he is such an important person, he was given the name Seventh Goswami. Right? So, we cannot think, we should never think even in dreams, Bhaktivinoda Thakur will write something different to Jiva Goswami or Rupan Sanatan. Otherwise no one would give him the title Seventh Goswami. No? What did the 6 Goswamis do? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them 4 services, main. Can you remember what they are? Lupta Tirtha Uddhara, again manifest the lost holy places. No? Grantha Ninoy, to write books describing the process of pure devotion. Vigraha Prakash, manifest the deities which have also become lost. And by Vaishnava Sadachara, own behavior, establish the principles of devotion by own character, own behavior. So the 6 Goswamis did these 4 services, and because Bhaktivinoda Thakur also did these 4, especially in relationship to Lord Chaitanya and Navadvip, Mayapur, then the Vaishnava community gave him the name Seventh Goswami. And Guru Maharaj says another main contribution to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, was his son. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It said, seeing the atheistic demeanor of the population at large and considering himself being unable to do anything in that regard, Vaishnava humility, then he said he prayed to Bhagavan Jagannath, please give me a ray of Vishnu, means some empowered personality who will help me in this mission. So that is Bimal Prasad. His son, after taking sannyas, he became Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bimal Prasad. Bimala is considered one form of like Radhika. Bimal Prasad. So, Saraswati Thakur is also considered one major contribution of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Even though Saraswati Thakur took Diksha from Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, I was reading today, Bhakti Rakshak Srila Maharaj said, actually his main guru was always Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The reason he took initiation from Jagannath Golkishore Das Babaji Maharaj because Bhaktivinoda Thakur told him to. So we see, the main stamp in the life, his teachings, his whole conception of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that is also the influence of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. From the age of 5, he was editing the works of Bhaktivinoda. We're 55, we read it, we can't even understand most of the work, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. But from the age of 5, 7 years old, he was editing these books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. People were astonished how such a young child could have so much absorption in hearing. Everyone became astonished like that. No? So Gurudev said it was not for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then all the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur would just be eaten by insects and termites and other things. No? So today we remember Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay? Craig? Yes. If we want some auspiciousness in our life, then start to read his books. No? Guru Maharaj would say his books are the perfect bridge. How the person captured by mundane logic, mundane science, all these bewildering aspects, can cross all that water to reach the other side of pure transcendental knowledge. No? His books are also beautiful. Very poetic, very interesting, and full of tattva siddhanta. No? So today is also the disappearance of another great personality. Who is that? Gadadhara Pandit. So, Colin, this will be a little hard. Bhaktivinoda Thakur a little easy to understand, but Sri Gadadhara Pandit not so easy to understand. No? Colin, is God an energy? Or is he the energetic? All energy has a source.
Yes.
So God cannot be an energy, he will be the energetic, the source of energy. So that source of all energy, he is called Krishna. No. And his main energy, her name is Radha, or Hare. Hare Krishna. Got it?
Yeah.
Means Krishna's energy and Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You know that, right? Of course, Mukunda. What's his name? Madhav. Okay. So Krishna means with his energy, like sun means with sunlight. No? Incense means with its fragrance. So Krishna means with his energy. So his supreme energy, her name is Radharani. Right? So when Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya, then Radharani also came in the form of Gadadhara Pandit. So in simple language, incarnation of Radharani. No? But mood is a little different. Because submissive mood, because necessary for that pastime. Even though Krishna and Lord Chaitanya are the same person, their pastimes are not completely identical in every way. A little bit different mood in pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. No, like when Mother Yasoda took Nimai out of school, because the older brother Vishwarup had taken sannyas. So Mother Sachi became worried, if my son learns everything, he'll realize this world has no value. He'll also take sannyas. So better my son remain a fool, then he'll stay at home with me. So she took Nimai out of school. Then Nimai wanted to read, so what did he do? There were many old cooking pots. He sat on top of those cooking pots. Then of course the charcoal all came on him, and he was sitting there on the top meditating. Then his mother came. Foolish child, what you're sitting on that dirty place for? Then many philosophy Lord Chaitanya spoke as a child. What is dirty? What is impure? All comes from the supreme whole. That is me. So some philosophical discussion was there. No? One day Mother Sachi caught Nimai eating dirt. Dirty child, why are you eating dirt? Mother, everything is a transformation of dirt. No? Dirt is the source of everything. So what's the problem in eating dirt? Then Mother said, foolish child, if you eat dirt, you get stomach ulcers. But you eat the transformation of dirt in the form of wheat and chapatis and parathas and puris and sabjis, then the body becomes healthy and strong. In this way, in a simple way, Lord Chaitanya, this is showing, no, God not became the creation, his potency manifests the creation. So anyway, then Mother Sachi defeated him by philosophy. Lord Chaitanya accepted and said, I won't eat dirt anymore. But Krishna Lila, Mother sort of twisting ear, beating, because cowherd boy, no? So some differences there between Krishna Lila and Chaitanya Lila, no? So when Radharani came in the form of Gadadhara, then little different mood, no? It's always submissive, always humble. So beautiful, no? His father's name was Madhav Mishra, and he was born very close to Lord Chaitanya. No? But from childhood he knew nothing else except devotion to Krishna. From childhood, no? He went to the same school as Nimai. No? And that time Nimai Pandit means very learned person. So Nimai would always try to torture Gadadhara with his philosophy. Means logic and argument, all these things. No? So Gadadhara Pandit would see Nimai and try to avoid him in the street, because he just wastes my time talking rubbish. No topics of Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. No? So all the devotees would avoid Nimai. So Nimai would see this, and the devotees would discuss amongst themselves. This Nimai he's handsome like millions of cupids. He's so learned like Brihaspati. No? He have all good qualities, but no love for Krishna. He never speak about Krishna. But if Nimai became a devotee, we would never leave him for a second. So all devotees used to pray, "Oh Krishna, please make Nimai into a devotee." So Gadadhara Pandit was also like that. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya would catch him in the street, "Oh Gadadhara, answer my questions." But Gadadhara Pandit would try to avoid all this because waste of time. No? But when Lord Chaitanya came back from Puri, from Bodh Gaya, after he took initiation from his guru Ishwar Puri, completely transformed to devotee Nimai. No? So that time Gadadhara Pandit became like the shadow of Lord Chaitanya. Like the shadow. Especially Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Radhika, therefore always weeping. Kaha jao, kaha pao, Brajanandan. Where is Krishna? No. Who is the jewel of the dynasty, Kwa Nanda Kula Chandrama. Where is Krishna, who is the jewel of the dynasty of Nanda Maharaj? Kwa Sikipuchi Kalankita. Where is Krishna, who always wears the peacock feather upon his head? Kwa Munda Muralidava. Where is Krishna, who plays very deeply the fifth note on the flute? Kwa Rasa Rasa Tandava. Where is Krishna, who dances very nicely in the Ras Lila? No? Without seeing him, my heart is breaking to thousands of pieces. So Lord Chaitanya was in this mood. So one day as he was weeping like that, then he was saying, "Where is Krishna?" And Lord Chaitanya began, someone said, "He's in your heart." So Lord Chaitanya, with his fingernails, he began digging his chest. "I will find Krishna there." That time Gadadhara Pandit caught his hands. "Oh Nimai, be peaceful. If you just be peaceful for 5 minutes, then Krishna will come. But you're making so much noise, you're scaring him away." So just be peaceful 5 minutes, then Krishna will come. Then Lord Chaitanya was silent. Then Mother Sachi said, "Oh Gadadhara, out of all the friends of Nimai, no one is more intelligent than you. So promise me you'll always be with him. You should never give him up even for a second." So Lord Gadadhara was like the shadow of Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, who went with him to Puri? Gadadhara Pandit. And he stayed there, he took a vow. Ketra sannyas, I will spend my whole life there. It means he thought I'll spend my whole life with Lord Chaitanya there. No? So even though he is a great devotee still, he is Radharani, the guru of all devotees. No? But one day he's teaching us, we should not be so quick to judge devotee. Who is devotee? Very hard to understand by eyes, because these eyes are material. No? So who is high and who is low, who knows? No. Very difficult to understand. Sometimes we think who is vastly learned, that person will be a devotee. But then we see the example of devotees like Gokashodas Babaji Maharaj, could not even read or write his own name. But he is Jagat Guru. No. So very hard. No. Sometimes, anyway, big topic this. Who is devotee? What is symptom of devotee? No? So one day, Gadadhara Pandit asked, "I want to meet a devotee." So Lord Chaitanya said, "There's one great devotee, you may go and meet him." His name was Pundarik. Pundarik Vidinidhi. Not Pundrak. Pundarik. So Gadadhara Pandit went with Mukunda, the original one. Mukunda is the incarnation of Brindadevi, right? Huh? Yeah, Brindadevi. So they went to visit the house of Pundarik. So Pundarik was a very wealthy landowner, multi-millionaire. No? He had long hair full of sandalwood oil down to here. His hands were full of rings, jewels, gold, necklaces. His lips were red by chewing betel nut. He was sitting on a silk, on a sofa which was white like the foam on the ocean of milk. So white sofa. There were mirrors on either side. Again and again he would look at his own reflection. Some girls were nearby fanning him even. So when Gadadhara saw him, when Gadadhara was renounced from birth, he thought, what is this? This is not devotee, this is a great materialist. Look at him. He seems completely absorbed in the luxuries of life, the enjoyment of the body. So Gadadhara had some doubt, and with this doubt he left and went away. So that time, when he went back to Lord Chaitanya said, don't be so quick to judge him, you should go again. And I think this time he sent Mukunda. So when they went back, then Mukunda sang one verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bahar bitam, how many, so, ho baki, what is that one? Ho baki yam stanakala kutam, jigamase apiya sadvi, levidatram gacha kutam, kova saranam dayalam brajema. Famous verse from 3rd canto, I think. How kind is Krishna? Putana, one witch, she came to kill him by putting some poison on her breast. What did Krishna do? He sucked all the poison, sucked out all the bad things from her, liberated her, and gave her a position in the spiritual world like a mother. So kind. Mukunda, what would you do if someone came to kill you? Kill them, do unto others before they do unto you. But Krishna is so kind. Even that woman came to kill him, but Krishna gave her an eternal position in the spiritual world like mother. So when Mukunda sang this verse in the ear of Pundarik, then Pundarik became like a mad person. He began tearing his silk cloth. The spittle from his betel nut went everywhere. He broke his chains, pulled his hair. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? The ocean of all good qualities. He became like a madman. Krishna, Krishna. So much he became absorbed, he fell unconscious onto the ground. Then Gadadhara was watching. What is this? These symptoms of love of Krishna are only possible in the highest type of devotee. And I was thinking bad about him. He is a materialist. He is a Visai. So Gadadhara Pandit showed, I made offense to the feet of this great person. How I can become free from that offense? So he took initiation from Pundarik Vidinidhi. So in this world we should also be very careful. Who is pure devotee? Sometimes we become bewildered. What is the main quality of a devotee? 9, the 26 qualities of a pure devotee, what's the main one? Sort of. Krishnoika Saranam, they're fully surrendered to Krishna. Fully surrendered to Krishna. But sometimes we become bewildered. Oh, who has a nice smile, that person's pure devotee. Because devotee have 26 qualities. Poetic, expert, what else? Clean, merciful. Everything which Mukunda does not have, that is present in the pure devotee. So sometimes we become bewildered looking at these 25 external qualities. Because who can see who is surrendered to Krishna? That thing you cannot see. So who is Vaishnava is not understood by our own power, our own learning, our own intelligence. By the mercy of that Vaishnava we can understand who is that Vaishnava. Gaugamaj would say, the problem is we always think we are the seer. I do anyway. We think we are the seer, but we are not the seer, we are to be seen. So anyway, Gadadhara Pandit is so high, but he's teaching us we should be very careful how to judge. So many, many things there in his pastimes. One day Lord Chaitanya called Gadadhara. Oh Gadadhara, if I give you something, will you keep it? Then Gadadhara said, if it comes from you, I must keep, definitely. So Lord Chaitanya dug in the sand. And what did he find, Nayan? For $200 US? What did he find? You owe me $200. He found very beautiful deity of Gopinath. Have you been to Puri? Did you see Tota Gopinath? Just say yes.
Yes.
Charming, the only form of Craig? Colin? The only form of Krishna you can see sitting down, this form of Gopinath. No other deity of Krishna you find in a sitting position. So very charming. So Lord Chaitanya dug the sand and gave that deity to Gadadhara, whole life he spent looking after that deity, serving that deity. No? One day Nityananda came from Bengal carrying some special rice, Govinda Bhog. Have you heard that rice? Very small grain rice, very tiny, but it's fragrant like jasmine. Amazing. So Nityananda carried that special rice all the way from Bengal. He gave to Gadadhara. Then Gadadhara quickly but how to make a sabji? So he just took tamarind leaves and some water from the ocean and made a chutney from that. But because he is Radharani, everything he cooks tastes like nectar. So that time Gadadhara Pandit took the rice, cooked with his own sabji and offered. That time Mahaprabhu came. And he said, the rice of Nityananda, the chutney of Gadadhara, you guys are having a feast and not inviting me like this. So Lord Chaitanya spent the last 16 years of his pastimes there. So Gadadhara Pandit took the vow of Ketra Sannyas, I will never leave the holy place. Sometimes Gurudev would joke with Didi, call her Chetra Sannyasini, because she never left Vrindavan. No? So, but then Lord Chaitanya wanted to go on a tour to North India to see his two mothers, the Ganga and Mother Sachi. So Gadadhara Pandit thought, I took a vow to stay in the holy place because I thought Lord Chaitanya would be here. So when he heard Lord Chaitanya was going to the north, and he said, I will go with you. Then Lord Chaitanya said, no, you took a vow, always stay in the holy place and always serve to Gopinath. Then Gadadhara Pandit said, let my service to Gopinath go to hell. Let my vow of staying to the holy place go to hell. I want to be with you. Means all my religious principles are useless if it causes separation from you. In this way he showed his supreme attachment to Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya became happy inside, but externally he said, no. Devotee break their religious principles, this give me pain. I am ordering you to stay here. Then Gadadhara Pandit felt so much pain he fell unconscious. And when he was unconscious, Lord Chaitanya left and went. No? So who can estimate the depth of the affection Gadadhara Pandit had for Lord Chaitanya? Therefore Lord Chaitanya is known as Gadaya Gauranga. He is the Gauranga who always belongs to Gadadhara Pandit. So these two devotees intimately connected, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Sri Gadadhara Pandit. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is considered the Shakti of Gadadhara Pandit, the potency of Gadadhara Pandit. No? So anything he writes, don't underestimate. What he writes, we should accept. No? Because no one else, who has said that what Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote may be some type of preaching tactic? Only Babajis are saying that. But no one in the line of Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said like that. No? So Gurudev never said, or Saraswati Thakur never said. So we should not try to introduce something stepping over. Be careful. Be careful. No? Are there any questions from anyone? Yes, Premavati.
When you were talking about Kundalini, you said that by the mercy of Guru one can understand.
By mercy of the devotee you can understand
Yes.
who is devotee.
Okay, so how is that mercy generated?
Means in the form of faith. No? In the
Because
form
some
of faith.
people might say, oh, this person is blind, they can't understand the glories of this Vaishnava. But it is only by the mercy of that Vaishnava that one can recognize them.
So only
So
Madhyamata.
is that person blind? Or is
Well,
that
some
person
people also
without
choose,
mercy?
some person also choose some rubbish person and accept that person as pure devotee. So that's why only real Madhyamadikari can properly understand all these things. No?
So then why sometimes it's said, oh, this person is foolish, they cannot understand the glory of this Vaishnava?
Because no mercy of the Vaishnava.
Yes, exactly. So is it that that person is foolish, one, and two, that person doesn't have the mercy, so therefore they are unfortunate?
Both need mercy to understand. No?
Yeah.
Need mercy.
So for any newcomer then, how they can get...
Pray to Bhagavan, pray to who is pure, how do we know? But Krishna knows nicely. Krishna knows nicely who is pure devotee. So we pray to Krishna, Krishna must not deceive us. But we have some cheating tendency in our heart, then Krishna may deceive us by sending us to some false person. In simple language, we try to cheat Krishna, we'll be cheated. But if we have no duplicity in if we have no duplicity in our heart, then why Krishna will send us in a bad direction? Right? So Gogamaj would talk so much about this. We have to cry, no? Cry to Krishna, give me your mercy, I can understand who is your representative, who is your devotee. Pray to Gurudev, who is fully, perfectly representing you. No? Right? If we pray nicely and perfectly to Gurudev, how we can be deceived? We will not be deceived. But if we have some cheating tendency, we'll end up following like Prem Prayojan or something like that. No? So always take care, always take care. Anything else?
It might be a strange question. I was kind of cautious when I asked about. So you were talking about Krishna is like the essence of the Vedas, I think you were saying. But I heard somewhere that Krishna is not actually mentioned in the Vedas.
That is not true.
That is,
There's a book Bhaktivinoda Thakura wrote called Jaiva Dharma. Have you read it? You should. Do you have a copy, or you can download it for free, or he can get, if you'd like the book form, he can get. Bhaktivinoda Thakur goes through and finds all these many statements of Krishna mentioned directly in the Vedas. So he's mentioned there directly.
Maybe it's Radharani that's not mentioned.
But she also mentioned everywhere.
Yeah, but sometimes it is said like that, isn't it?
Like geese there in milk, who can see, but it's there. No?
Yeah, yeah.
A qualified person can see. Anything else, Bhavana? Anything else? Little chanting today? Why not just lie and just say yes? Do a little bit every day. Try. Guru Maharaj would say, we have time for everything else. Why not time for Krishna? Okay. Anything else, Radhapriya? Anything? Take care. Doctor said don't speak too much. Mukunda's going, yes. Any other question? Why did you come for Kartik? It's in October 9. Would you come then or?
No, I think something's going to come maybe after.
Maybe you should come when we go.
Kartik's October 9, but Kartik's an amazing month. In this month I visit all the holy places. All the holy places. It's a special month, Radharani's month.
that's in India.
Kartik's a month, but Vrindavan's in India, birthplace of Krishna. If you get a chance, you come in October. If you cannot come then come with these guys. You're not married, right?
I'm not vaccinated.
Huh?
I'm not vaccinated, so I don't think I'll be getting overseas.
You don't need a vaccine to go to India.
Okay.
You just need to get an exemption from our government to leave, but as long as you're going somewhere that doesn't require you to be vaccinated to get in.
Really?
Yeah. See, this is where it gets a bit of a grey area. I don't know. But I was able to get a travel exemption to Thailand recently. I didn't end up travelling, but I got the exemption. I'm unvaccinated. And I guess if they let you out of the country, they have to let you back in. Because they didn't say anything to me about the term.
You're not New Zealander, are you?
No.
Okay, then they'll let you in, man.
Neither am I, mate.
Ah, you are. Don't lie.
No.
What? What's happening to this country?
I know they accepted the likes of me.
Anyway, these are details. Where there's a will, there's a way. Main thing is,
Yeah, we'll
do
find
that.
out, get all the information.
Looks like he's already done the homework for you. Anything else? Yes, sir. How did Bhaktivinoda Thakur leave? Well, I heard the last 3-4 years of his life, he just completely refused to speak to anyone. He completely just isolated him. The last 3-4 years of his life, he didn't speak to anyone. Just completely absorbed in internal consciousness. I heard like that. And he left in Calcutta. But more than that, Calcutta. He was cremated also. There's no samadhi of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Well, it depends who was there. At that time was no SMS, no Facebook, you know. So who was with him at that time, they make the decisions. And
They must have had MySpace though.
Saraswati Thakur was not happy by that, you know? Because everyone's so much influenced by the smarter conception, you know. Like within 12 hours one must be cremated, otherwise he becomes a ghost, all these type of things were there. You know? So people influenced by that, not too much influenced by what the devotional shastras say. So that was there, that happened. The same thing when Saraswati Thakur wanted to live, many disciples wanted him also cremated. You know the story. Then Param Gurudev came and said, if you want to cremate him, well, that's all right, but first you have to cremate me. Then he spoke about the position of the pure devotee. Because the scriptures have rules. There's rules for the ordinary persons and rules for the extraordinary persons. So what applies to the Vaishnavas, they have a separate category of instructions for persons on that level. But people maybe not understanding he's on that level, they try to apply the lower rules and regulations of the scriptures to him. And this conflict is always there. No? Yes.
Which personality would Bhaktivinoda Thakur be in this portion?
He is Kamala Manjari. Some devotees, we have no idea who their internal identity is because they don't speak anything. No? But sometimes out of their mercy, devotees also speak something. No? Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote one bhajan. My name is Kamal Manjari, I'm 11.5 years old. My sari is blue with stars, silver stars. My service is camphor. Making camphor. How we know that? Because he wrote himself. No? So some great person writes something about themselves, we should accept it. No? Huh? Amnaya. Like Prabhupada on the Jaladuta, what he wrote? Yeah. Couldn't go a whole class without bringing that up. Right? When he wrote that, oh my brother Krishna, I want to go cow grazing with you. No? I'll roll in the fields and steal your lunch and eat. Say din kabe habe more. When that day will be mine. No? So sometimes personalities write about their internal mood, that we should just accept that. No? Like Saraswati Thakur, he is Nayana Manjari. How we know? He wrote in one letter, that's all. To Kunja Bihari, Kunja Babu. One line in one letter, and from that everyone accept. Yes, he is that. No? Yes, to Kamal Manjari. Interesting. Yes?
You were saying that when Bhaktivinoda Thakur went to that place that the Muslims had tried to grow, what sort of issues were there to try to get that, wrangle that place?
Well, Bhakti Pragyan Kesari Maharaj had a lot to do with that as well, no? Bhakti Pragyan Kesari Maharaj did a lot. Maybe we should turn off the recording. Don't want any start any religious war here on the Gold Coast. But yeah, that all the Muslims had control, because the Muslims controlled North India for like 400-500 years, no? So especially Bengal, that was considered the golden sparrow. So much wealth was there. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he purchased many lands, but especially Masibari. That's where Chandrasekhar Bhavan. That is, Chandrasekhar was Sanatana Goswami's brother-in-law, something. So in that whole area was a Muslim graveyard. So our Gurudev's Gurudev, he said to all the Muslims in that area, he built a wall encircling the whole property. So the Muslims are complaining, this is our graveyard. He said, I'm just protecting it. You should be happy. Then the Muslims said, yeah, he's giving us security for our ancestors. And then he was growing hundreds and hundreds of flowers and plants and pot plants. And everyone kept on asking him, what are you growing so many trees and flowers for? But he didn't say anything. Just for months and months he was just sprinkling and watering, and he had all these trees and everything and pot plants. Then one night he called everyone. And they dug up all the headstones of the Muslims, threw it in the Ganga, took up all the bones and all the skeletons, and Allah Akbar. They chucked that in the Ganga, and they transplanted all these gardens in one night. So they made it into a garden. Then the Muslims came to give, some flowers on the grave of Uncle Muhammad. But Uncle Muhammad had gone. So the Muslims became angry. They called the British. That time the British were in charge. And the Muslims say that he destroyed our graveyard. And Param Guru said, what graveyard? Are you crazy? Obviously this garden's been here for years. Look at the size of the trees here. Then they couldn't prove, and so that's how all these type of things. Not so easy life. I'll tell you one story. Oh, I should turn off the recording. Sorry guys. Don't want any record of this.